Hello everyone. I have not made a YouTube video in a long time, so I just thought I'd do one here on Friday. Thought I would talk about this steel V2 from Roman's Props. This is my first V2 that I have done. The stencils were the wrong stencils, but when I started doing this, I had it in my mind that didn't really matter. It's my first one. This is for experience. So I wasn't too concerned about it. I did some stretching and fitting on a couple of them. A lot of them fit pretty good, to be honest with you. This was a stencil kit from the first Solos Hold V2, I believe. Two areas that were definitely trouble with that stencil kit was getting it to stretch and fit properly around this because of the angle. You know, it wanted to slip off, so I had to fight with that. And this being just a little too small because this emitter is bigger than that particular Solos Hold hilt. Everything else, though, worked out pretty good. I'm pleased with it. I'm not really one of those, I'm not a stickler on having completely film accurate movie props, so I'm okay with it. No disrespect to you guys at all. I'm just not that big on it. Excuse me. So yeah, this is kind of this is the heaviest saber that I have. And at first I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like that. But after putting a pixel blade in it and playing with it some, I love the weight of this thing. It feels like I got a real weapon in my hand. I did remake the screw or bolt, whatever you want to call it, that holds the emitter on the Roman's Props. I made one out of steel, stainless steel maybe, I don't remember, to make that just a little bit stronger. You know, I wouldn't go beating the crap out of this thing, but, you know, I feel like it can take a little more than it could with that aluminum one. And I made it so I could get more depth in the emitter. I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah, this is a Trooper Trent stencil kit, sloth furnace card, the one with the soldered and aged look to it. I had to do quite a bit of work to that to get my switches to work, but they do work nicely now. The steel ended up having a darker look than the aluminum would, so I went with kind of a, I don't even know where I got this clamp from, but it looks kind of aged and beat up just a little bit. So I went with that on here. I thought it looked best. And, you know, his pommel is still aluminum, so you can tell the difference from the aluminum to the steel. And I believe that these are the greeblies that came with it. I'm not positive. Like I said, I wasn't too concerned on accuracy. I grabbed what I had laying around. I got a few of them, and I don't know if I got them mixed up or not, but I'm okay with that on my personal saber. I did reference Scott JUA on this. I don't think that I did exactly what his is, but I would do some scratches and look at a picture of his, do some more scratches, you know, so that's that. I'm guessing that this is not the correct D-ring, but like I said, I'm okay with that. As far as paint, it's all, you know, black. I used a bronze color here because that's what I had readily available. And again, I'm okay with that. I did wrap the tape around here. At first, I wasn't big on the tape, and I didn't wrap it thick, but after getting it on here, I really like that change in the textured look, so that's staying. The dents, that's something I really want to address, because I see, you know, some people have been told you can't do dents and you shouldn't do them or whatever. You know, it's metal. Aluminum's metal, steel's metal. You just got to think ahead and know how to deal with it. Metal will form. I mean, blacksmiths prove that every day. I'm going to go deeper into how I did that. I can't really show it because I don't have another emitter, Roman's emitter here to be able to make a video of actually doing the dents. If I get my hands on one, I would love to do a video to show you guys how to do it. but I use MAP gas on it, but I'll get deeper into that in a little bit. This is installed. I did a basic install. On my personal sabers, I'm just not really, I don't feel like crystal chambers are that important to me. I love doing them for other people, but on my sabers, I'm more interested in how the hilt looks outside. So yeah, this is the Mark I chassis. I want to say that I machined this a little bit shorter because with the inside of this, you don't have the length that you do in the Mark I. And I think I might have took just like a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch off of this thread so that this could slide in there further. But yeah, it does fit with little modifications. Another option would be to machine the plastic down a little bit. I chose to do the metal. It doesn't matter. It's still plenty of thread there for what I need. I don't even have this glued on yet. I have my 2 switch wires on top because I'm still debating where I want my activation. Right now my activation is in the front, auxiliary in the back. But for having fun when playing with the saber, it's kind of nice to have that auxiliary up here so that I can grab it with my pinky. And plus, there is one scene, maybe more, but there's one scene that I definitely noticed where Luke acts like he's pushing on this end to shut his saber off. But anyways, I'm still just playing with that, so yeah, that's why I have these 2 wires on top. This is a CFX board. This doesn't even really need to be glued on because this fits so perfect that when this is on, it holds it in place. I'm trying to look at the camera. I have a 28 millimeter Smuggler's Outpost speaker right here. It's mounted about right here and pointed in that direction. It gets very good sound. I have my battery, of course, mounted right here, so this whole area right here is open. I don't have any lighting or anything in here. I put a little shrink tube in so you can't see my wires where I have those routed. And my pixel connector in here. Let me go ahead and get that out so you can see the depth I ended up getting. I believe I got 0.57 blade depth after all was said and done. Not great, not optimal. So on these thin neck sabers, I use 7/8 blades. Honestly, I like 7/8 blades on almost everything of mine. So, it's a 1-inch blade holder, blade socket. So I make a custom fit adapter that is very snug fit. It's very snug on the blade, and it's just good enough to slip in here so that it doesn't get that wobble because from these short sockets. And it holds fairly well. I have not beat anything with these because that's just not what I do with my sabers. Let me get this in here. And whenever you do these blade adapters, make sure that the set screw goes through the adapter. You need the screw to tighten down on the blade, not the adapter. I'm sure most of you know that, but just in case. I got kind of a mess here, even with my short blade.
There is still good in him.
Oh, I forgot I don't have a tracks folder in here. I was trying to play some music and I don't have that in here yet. But the buttons do work fairly well. I still got to get a little paint. I should have done that before I did the video, where I had to sand on my switch holder right here. But what I do for these switches, you can see there I got my Goth holder, 2 micro switches. What I do on these is I set up in my mill and I mill out, it's not going to focus, there we go. I mill out and leave a center section that's the original thickness. I'm sorry about this focusing. And so, I've got this bar across here and right here. So my switches are pushing on the bar, and you can see I use silver tape to then get my switches working perfect. I just needed one switch. I needed one piece of silver tape. The other switch I needed it to be double, and that allows the switch holder, the card to be held in the clamp fairly tight. And then I sand on here just a little bit, not much, just a little bit. But that allows it to be held tight, works smooth, and it gives you the amount of push down that you need right here. I don't remember exactly how much I did, but I taped the card up so it doesn't get scratched up when I'm mounting it in my vise and my mill, and do one side at a time. But that's how I do those. I know everybody doesn't have a mill, but maybe you could work that out with some sandpaper or a Dremel. I'm sure a Dremel would take care of that real quick. I have a mill, so I just always go to the mill. So on the dents, now, like I said, this is my first time doing a V2. I don't know exactly how these dents are supposed to be. I looked at some pictures, especially Halowax. I looked at some of his stuff to try to get close, and I just went to work on it. Like I say, I'm not big on having perfectly accurate film props, but so I felt comfortable enough to go with it. One of my first real jobs was working with steel, so I guess I wasn't too scared of it. You can see here, this is the big dent, and I didn't quite get it right, being my first one. I keep on saying that. It's too much. It's a little too far down and a little too short across. It ended up looking like a pour spout, but like I say, I'm okay with it. I'll know better the next time I do one. But you can see the waves going around it. It really, the lighting, depending on how you're holding it, really shows or it doesn't, I guess that's good. But so on doing those dents, I used MAP gas. Let me see. Let me get my. Almost got me on camera tripping. So yeah, I used this torch with MAP gas. That gets still hot enough for what we're doing here. I used a hammer, of course. Can't do this with wood now. I grabbed this hammer for all dents but the pour spout. I'm comfortable enough with the hammer to where I know how to get that flat tap on it, so that's something you'd want to be aware of. On doing steel, you want to find shapes that will give you what you want. For example, grab you an old socket. Find the shape that will fit what you want to create, and you're going to be beating on that socket like that. And you want, this might even be the socket I used. It seems actually I started with something smaller. I wasn't happy with that, and then I went with this socket to try to shape it out better without beating this side, but I still ended up with that spout from where I started with something too small. So next time I'd know better to start with, something like this. On everything else, I just used the flat of my hammer. Look at different hammers you got and check out the edges. You don't want a hammer with sharp edges on the head. That's going to leave you with some nasty creases on the sides of where you hit it. But you want to take one at a time. Do not try to heat up this whole emitter and thinking you're going to go around and get them all done. Heat up one at a time. And localized heat. Let me find something to point with. I guess this will do. Let me get on the deep one. So, when I did this, I heated up this area here. Red hot. heated up red hot. And you know, where you're working at makes a difference. If you're doing this outside, it'll be red hot and you won't realize it because the outdoors light. So you know, be aware of that. Now, it doesn't have to stay red hot the entire time, because it will, since you're just doing a localized heat. That heat's going to dissipate and it's not going to stay red hot, but you'll still be fine. So just work on that one spot at a time, and you know, you should be fine. Try tapping it at first. If you're not familiar with steel, tap it. You know, you're okay if you got to heat this thing up 15 times. It's not going to kill it. But tap it a couple times. That don't get it, heat it up a little bit again, and tap a little harder. Do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, you're probably going to end up giving it some good whacks. I just don't want you to go beating the crap out of it at first and then blaming Griff for your emitter being screwed up. So take your time. You got one emitter. If anybody, you know, I would love to do a video showing. If anybody wants to take a chance and send me their steel emitter, I'll do the dents for free. Make a video of it and then ship your emitter back. But that's totally up to you. But anyways, that is my V2. I'm still working on sound fonts. I went through and grabbed a bunch of sounds off of the movie track I have, so I can make this the way I want. I believe Daddy Issues is the hum that I got on there right now. So that's it, guys. Appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great weekend, because it is Friday here right now as of making this video. May the force be with you.